I mean, this is their tools now. It's not going away. It's getting stronger. People who were owning horse companies were very mad at the car companies when they came out. This is where Hollywood is going, whether you like it or not. Oh, but it's going to take the jobs of the storyboard artists. Oh, it's going to take the jobs of visual effects productions. It might, and that's sad, but it's kind of progress in the direction that makes things more affordable.
My name's Sabrina Ramanov. Super excited to be speaking with David Basulto, and he is a high school teacher and also videographer and entrepreneur. And really excited today to talk about the intersection of AI and education, as well as AI and video content creation. But first, real quick, really excited to hear about your backstory. It sounds like you have quite a backstory between entrepreneurship and education. So
Yeah, I mean, got a business degree, went into working on Wall Street out of college. All of a sudden, I get discovered in New York City by a casting director. Hey, you want to be an extra in a movie? I said, sure. I had no idea what that was. Next thing I know, I'm on the set with for Rocky Five. Yeah, and so I'm talking. I was pretty big then. I was still out of college because I played football in college, and so here I am talking with Stallone and everybody. And they gave me this fever to come back and get into acting. You should be an actor. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be a rich Wall Street guy. I'll be a starving actor. And so left everything, came back. My parents thought I was nuts, and then got into the film business as an extra, then got into speaking parts and got my SAG card and did lots of big movies and TV shows in the old days. Cheers and Mad About You. One of my first jobs, big jobs ever, where I had like a couple of lines. And Ted Danson, it was really fun, comes over to me and says, hey, Dave, I want you to go behind Woody Harrelson, and just grab him for me and hold him. And I'm like, I'm totally going to get fired from this job if I do that. But you got to be YOLO once in a while. So I go behind Woody, I grab him, and Ted Danson comes over and pours water all over him. I let him go, and they run chasing each other like little kids.
Wow.
So that was it's lots of fun stories going back into that world. Then I got into producing movies. I worked for Mel Gibson's company, worked for Lifetime Television was my last job. I was doing executive producing.
I've watched that a lot.
Yeah, lots of Women in Jeopardy movies. I got kind of burned out, and then I just retired. I was sick of it was just traveling everywhere and long hours, and I had a little boatload of money saved away. And my wife was a big production designer. She had done like Dexter and some other big shows, and so we were both like, this job's horrible. So I was just kind of sitting around, and then I got involved and asked to be a teacher from the local high school that I had. I wanted to. My good friend was in charge of the career tech education, and said, I know you know movies. We need a media teacher that teaches video production. I go, yeah, I could do that. It's something to do. And so I went, and I just fell in love with the kids, fell in love with teaching, and just decided to really dive into it. And along the journey there, out of the blue, out of necessity, I created a case that fits on your iPad or your iPhone, or we have all kinds of different ones. So that had handles. I could put microphones on top. I could put it on to tripods and turn these new tools called iPads into filmmaking tools. And so, I got interviewed by the New York Times and Forbes magazine, this teacher who wants to revolutionize video. And we did a Kickstarter, and it was just life-changing. Yeah, it was a crazy time in my life, just life-changing. And so I stepped away. I was teaching for about 5 years, and I stepped away to build this brand up. And then I decided to go. The teacher that replaced me decides to leave and retire. And they said, you want to come back? And my son was just about to go into high school. I said, I'll come back. I love teaching. And so I'm doing both now. But I mean, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without all the help of AI tools, and of course we'll gloat on your potato later on. But yeah, just AI tools in general. I mean, I used to spend tons of money paying people to do my social media, paying people to do my any kind of graphics, things like that, because I'm not like the Photoshop guy. I'm not like, I know how to use video tools and Adobe Premiere and those kind of things, but I've never been like a graphic designer. So, flash forward, not only can I use things like ChatGPT to give me direction of where I want to go or ideas, or make a mock-up for me. And I'm just like, whoa, yeah, that's what I want. Now I can go to someone on Fiverr who I've been working with this guy that lives in Croatia for years now, designs all my packaging and everything. I go in there now armed with, this is what I want. I did a mock-up for you, now make it. And he's like, boom. So none of this would have happened without using AI tools. So it's fantastic.
That's amazing. And can you talk a little bit about using AI in the classroom as well?
Yeah. So really life-changing for a lot of students and myself. For me, making lesson plans on the fly. Some kids, maybe some of my classes, I teach 2 intro, 2 intermediate, and an advanced class. And we're all about mobile filmmaking, doing everything with the devices in their pockets. So my big thing is to get them to start creating content and stop absorbing all content all day long.
Do they all have TikToks? Is that a requirement?
Everyone's on TikTok. Everyone's on Instagram. They are huge Snapchat users, which is interesting to me. And, but nobody, Facebook, forget it. Ghost town. It's like nobody goes in there. It's really just TikTok's absolutely number one for everything. And then Instagram to post images and stuff like that. They're all content creators. They're telling stories every day. They're taking shots of what they're doing, how they're playing sports. They're in the dance company and they do little videos of that. So I'm like, well, you guys are content creators. Let's tell your story, So we really dive into that at the beginning. Classes will learn how to just use things like iMovie on their phone with templates in the iMovie. And then we'll go up to intermediate where they learn how to use things like Suno.com to make their own audio soundtracks. And one of the things that we do in that class is we'll use Suno.com to make music, and they can make their own soundtrack. Or I like to have them do funny things where, maybe you want to make a funny song about your friend or whatever, if they give you permission. And so they'll do that. And then I said, okay, now I'm going to teach you how to use this thing because we're on the Adobe system there. I said, we're going to use this thing called Firefly. And now I want you to make the images for this music video to go in there. And for those that don't know, it's a generative AI image creator. It's just showing them how they'll go from simple prompts to more, this is a wide shot with cinematic lighting and time of day. So it makes them think a lot. So, and then going backwards really quick, one of the big things about intro media this year is that I've been just really harping on being a responsible AI user, because the thing I fight with all the other teachers with is that the students are copying and pasting things all the time, and they think I've done my homework, and it's the teachers can figure it out. I mean, just the different apps that can check for you. We know that they're not, that they're just not accurate. But if some kid uses momentous in his sentence and he's never used the word momentous before, the teacher will call him out. So I'm really harping on them to use this as this amazing assistant in your pocket that's helping you 24/7, that can go in there, give you ideas or check your work. That's what you want. You're not going to get anywhere copying and pasting anything,
It's really interesting you mentioned that, because what stuck out to me as you were speaking is when you said it makes them think a lot. And I'm curious, if that's more of a function of how you're kind of structuring your lesson plan in a way that it's layered and they're diving into the complexities and the nuances of using AI tools. And so I am curious, what is the litmus or the temperature around AI right now? Are teachers and students both embracing it, or is plagiarism still such a big issue that it's
an issue? A lot of teachers are able to they don't want to embrace it yet, but we're talking more of the English department, the languages department, where they're getting a lot of people that I just want to pass this class. I'm going to copy and paste this, or I'm going to do it all in chat and change a couple of words so it sounds like me and turn it in. But those kids are also not doing well on testing because they don't know the material. They just copied and pasted it all. The school district I work in is San Marino Unified. It's in Southern California. So they asked me, with the head of tech, to kind of be the 2 AI czars and come up with a bunch of stuff over this next summer to really hit into the fall and introduce it as this is here. We know it's here. We're going to use it. Let's work together and use it ethically and use it as what it's made for, to really to bring out a lot of you, in what's inside of you, ideas, whatever. One of the awesome things I've been using recently is Google AI Studio, because I don't have something that the kids need on my videos on YouTube explaining, this is how you green screen, use After Effects to pull a green screen on your video. Maybe I don't have that video. I showed them, use this thing, you talk to it, it'll walk you through every step of what it is. It's a tutor right there doing play by play with you. And so
So
that really blows them away when they see that they can use stuff like that.
that's awesome. I love that. It sounds like you have a very like playful environment where kids can safely explore. And it is really interesting because like for me, I love writing, so I view it as very creative, but I also love music. And to me, the processes are very similar in terms of how I work with AI. Like if I hop into Suno, it's just the beginning. That's just the beginning.
That's
Like I'm
just
probably
very,
going
yeah,
through 100
yeah.
different generations, being like, I like this one, or I want to kind of like mix and match, remix like these three together. Oh, but that didn't come out right. I want to try again. If you can help kind of devise maybe a lesson plan or path that can bring that same kind of playfulness to writing. And I know a lot of people don't like writing. I'm weird. Like I had fun spending hours writing.
Yes, I'm old and I wrote a lot with my hands. I don't get it because they can just talk into the microphone now and write. And so I try and really give them
Easier
these
than
great
ever,
ideas.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell my classes, just throw up on this page whatever's in your brain and we'll clean it up little by little. And then that way you can start molding your clay and being as creative as you can. But just for story ideas and prompts. And the other day, I created a game for my advanced class that's going to walk them through how to get a movie made in Hollywood. So there's going to be kids that are going to be the casting director, the writer, the director, the
Like
producer,
make your own little studio. Wow.
and then there's the studio heads, and you got to pitch them your movies. The studio heads have only so much budget. They have to pick, and then at the end of the day, they have to make a trailer, a script, a short script, a trailer, and then marketing materials for it.
Wait,
And
why
then
don't more high schools have classes like this? I feel
I'm
like
trying to spread that too. So I'm hoping
feel
that,
like we need to like share this with so many other schools that like don't necessarily have access to someone like you who's like been there in the industry.
So I'm gonna start doing like Saturday live streams. I did it with my brand iographer for years and it was great, and we had a lot of interaction. And I kind of want to do something similar where I have David Basulto Education is my other YouTube channel, and I want to do it where people can come and ask questions, and let's go over lesson plan creation, and let's look at throw me some ideas out that I can help create for you during the week. I mean, so not only did it make this game for me, this is all ChatGPT, of course, but it also created the downloads for it, all the little cards that will show if you're a producer or a director or whatever. I mean, it's like this whole gaming system.
All the assets. Yeah, which by the way,
Everything.
traditionally very painful. You have to like
Yes.
search for the assets you want, buy them, customize like
Yeah. The other big thing that kids love to do is when we'll dive into Lovable.
oh yeah.
And they love, not to be pun intended, but they love it. They are so creative with apps that they want to create. And we might not get it to a fully functioning ability because you need databases and all of that.
Mhm.
But just their ideas of, this girl did this one about keeping inventory of all her clothing and then a connection to like a Poshmark to get rid of things she didn't want. And, just all these little fun things. And they're just coming up with it. I mean, I could never have thought to do that because I don't know coding, maybe a little HTML to get me in trouble, but this stuff, and then you're able to just zip it in there. So I'm trying to get the district to do like a license with them so that we can use it like more in depth because it's a powerful tool.
Yeah, I was going to say the CEO is very responsive as well. So if you ask for a nonprofit or education, maybe a collaboration.
Well, that would be awesome.
Cool.
And we could
I
be like a
love
white paper guy or something for it.
Yeah, case study. Like I love recommending Lovable and similar tools because it's like a blank canvas. You literally start from blank and it's like, what is it that you're trying to bring to life? And I'm not a very visual person, so I struggled a lot with Figma, Photoshop, Illustrator. Absolute nightmares for me. Like my head hurts. But like I could write an essay, a spec of what I want. That's fun for me. Describing what I want to change is fun for me. And so it's just such an amazing tool to go from absolutely nothing within an hour. You'll have something that's interactive that you can play with.
Sorry to interrupt. My son for business class, I had him do Lovable. They wanted him to do some kind of like a Google site mock-up. And I said, no, you're going to use this tool. And it was this beautiful website that it created for him that went to different pages and had these amazing images in it. And so he won this little contest in the business class. And of course, everyone says not fair because I told him to do it. But
yeah, I was like, but his dad.
We didn't have that tool. You got to look around. Yeah. So take my class. I'll show you how to use it. But yeah, it's just game changing for that. And I love seeing especially like all my intermediate and advanced kids have to do storyboards for their projects for me
Mm.
because I feel that's a very important step in the content creation. Of course, people like you can just talk and get billion views because you're amazing, but everyone else needs a war plan. Okay. So this is my first shot. Then we're going to
I
segue to
was
this
just
shot.
talking about storyboarding today, actually, in
Yeah.
my office hours, because if you want to make AI video, it's really expensive, actually. You need to go through a lot of iterations. So, like, use
No, you got to
storyboarding.
you got to know
Yeah,
where you're
yeah,
headed or forget it.
exactly. Otherwise, like, you're just gonna be frustrated, burning a lot of money, creating this super high quality animated images, but then it doesn't mesh together, and then you don't like it. You have to regenerate it. So that's
Yeah. So I have them. So they use Canva because Canva has some free storyboard templates, which are great. And then we'll use Firefly. They'll use Leonardo. A lot of the kids like to do. So I show them all the different tools and I tell them, look, you can use this so much for free, with the exception of the Adobe tools. So be sparingly. And, and I think Suno like regenerates the credits every day. So they love that. So they, oh, I used all my credits today and stuff. So, but, they're able to do these storyboards. And I mean, personally, coming from the film industry, I used to do things for pitch meetings where I had stick figures. And this is my story. If I was able to go in today with these amazing presentations and mock-up videos of what I wanted to show, here's the dinosaurs that are going to take the town over. I mean, it's like, boom, it's a whole different battlefield.
I'm sure some teachers or parents are still worried about the impact of AI on creativity, especially for children. It sounds like you're seeing AI as a way to foster creativity.
Yeah.
What would you say to parents or teachers who are still having that concern?
I mean, this is their tools now. It's not going away. It's getting stronger. People who were owning horse companies were very mad at the car companies when they came out. This is where Hollywood is going, whether you like it or not. Oh, but it's going to take the jobs of the storyboard artists. Oh, it's going to take the jobs of visual effects productions. It might, and that's sad, but it's kind of progress in the direction that makes things more affordable. I got this brainstorm. We just had a thing called Ski Week where we had a week off. It's usually like President's holiday, but they gave us a week off. So my son had just gotten his wisdom teeth out like a week ago. And so we were just home doing nothing. And so I just started tooling around. My son loves cows. He's like a fanatic. He wants to be a veterinary scientist for the large animals. He's the cow whisperer. I don't know where that comes from. So I started doing a little thing about making a little city of cows and their superhero cows. And I started to think of ideas for a book like something like Dog Man that just came out, or Captain Underpants, but with cow heroes. And I started to make some images I like to use Leonardo a lot. So I used some Leonardo, and then I brought those images into Sora to make it as my main image, and then Sora would use it as a background idea and start coming out. So, and I started playing around with some voice syncing apps, and I go, I can make an animated short here. So I'm like on fire with this, and it's making me go crazy.
Possible. One of my earliest podcasts was with Paul Drelly, and he's also coming from Hollywood. And like the opportunity we talked about, he sees is that you can make your own Hollywood studio in a way that is affordable, scalable. No longer is the big studio the gatekeeper.
That's 100%.
Yeah,
and that's where I come from, the old days where you had to know people at the studios to try and get something made, or there was all kinds of hoops to go through to get to the people that said yes for your movie.
Have a shot, and imagine they say no.
Just for a shot, exactly. And now, I mean, you put something up on YouTube, it gets 1 million views, or more, and people are like, "Wait, who is this kid? Let's send him a message, and maybe we can do something." So it's like, it's the lottery. It's amazing. I tell these kids every day how lucky they are to use it. A lot of them take it for granted, which it makes me sad. But just even the editing abilities on TikTok, using something like CapCut, or just even TikTok stuff that they can do now, it's so much easier than it was in the old dark ages. And so I really foster that creativity, because we have a school that's like top in science, top in English, top in mathematics, and the kids are just like grinding these things, AP this, AP that. But I want them to come to my room and just blow up, explode, be creative, draw, whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
And so these AI tools just give them, we do, like I said, the music video contest with just using images, and and Suno songs, and they just have such a blast and have fun doing that.
And like being able to do that in your classroom and safely explore, like there, no one's going to say you're like cheating or whatever
Yeah.
because you're in a creative process. Does that impact how kids perceive or use AI outside of your classroom as well?
Yeah, so a lot of them, in fact, some of the other teachers have, I wish you didn't use so much AI. I wish you didn't,
Mm.
And I just like, you got to realize this. You can't stop it. You cannot. I don't care if they don't do it in front of you. They're going to go home. They have access to these tools. Let's teach them how to use it correctly. Let's give them a digital citizenship thing with AI so they can be, use it respectfully. And there's always going to be the ones that are going to do things mischievously, but we can't stop that either. But the ones that are going to use it and embrace it, I mean, I can't imagine a more fun time. As I grow this next month, I'm going to turn 60, which I can't believe. And I'm like, God, I wish I was 30 years old right now with all these tools. My God. Oh my God. I'd have the energy to launch a million things, Even just simple apps. We were talking, was one of the kids, and I thought this was I'm probably giving away a multi-billion-dollar app idea, but the librarian had asked me, do I have any kids that can come and film his wedding? And I don't think I've seen this out there, but I thought, well, it's on a Friday. It's probably not going to happen because I have a group of production kids that go and do like live streaming and all kinds of fun stuff. And so I thought, what if there was an app that, you could invite everyone at the wedding and, you could do that with Google, Drive or something. But what if there's an app that really walked them through very simply to take pictures at, wherever
I
through
have
or
spent
video.
literally countless hours or like fetching everybody's photos from my wedding,
Exactly.
organizing them. I'm like, oh my God. Can you
Yeah,
imagine if like everyone just had a simple app and like all the contributions are there and everybody can see everything? Oh my God.
exactly. So there you go. You can take it and run with it. I'm too tired for that. One of the other things I teach now too is called the Titan Digital Media Internship. And it's basically the district used to pay someone a great deal of money to go and do social media because schools now kind of have to market themselves. It's no longer, this is my area and this is where everyone that lives within this area goes to this school.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Now they're like, private schools are trying to take them away. Another school, maybe they're a great athlete. They're trying to recruit them to go to this other area. So the district didn't want to pay anymore. It wasn't really panning out. And so they asked me to take over. And so I got this group of great kids and, we're using all of these different platforms to market. They're doing tons of TikToks. They're doing tons of just information, especially during the fires down here. So it was like the perfect example of what we needed this for, was to alert the community about what we were doing, how was school going, were we closed, all that stuff. And so it's just been doing all that is great. But then I have all these people that are on different platforms and how do I curate all this stuff? How do I see what's been doing? So I haven't told you yet, but I'm trying to get the district to buy a license from Blotato, of course, because I use it and it's just maniacally amazing. And I showed the kids and they go, we need this because, they can also pull, like you said, some of the other people that don't know Blotato, it just does amazing things. You're able to remix content, which we were talking about as a bunch of students and myself. What if we were able to take something that the news team posted or administration posted and do a little short remix so it doesn't sound exactly like we just copy and paste it. And now we got our own original content. And so they were really into all of that. So anyway, so it's just, I think having that and being able to send things out to everywhere on the dime. So it would really help, is going to help us a lot. So
especially for breaking news, where you need
that's going to be huge.
quick
Yes.
update, just get the most important facts and then
Mm-hmm.
that. But yeah, just hit me up afterwards. I'm definitely happy to support that for your
Okay, well, we'll
community.
see what we can do. Yeah. I think it would be a great thing for you to show that, we do with it's like
I
a
would love
very,
that.
it's a very big district. They're prestigious all over the place.
It sounds like it when you said they're topped at every single
Yeah.
subject.
It's crazy. That's that these kids. But for me personally, talking about Blotato for a second, not to be a Blotato ad, it's because I teach all day. My social media for my iographer company suffers because I'm too busy to do a million things. But now that I'm able to spend a Sunday or a Saturday or both and just crank out tons of great things, the workflow you did on make.com, if people who are listening to this are not doing this for their business or brand, they are losing the game because everything just flows and it works and you just feed your Excel document with things
I'm really happy to hear that.
it's
Yeah, because
just,
I know a lot of people charge money to get systems like that. And I was like, I'll just make it for free, show a
Yeah.
couple variations depending
Yeah.
on what you're looking for. But it's really
It's been
powerful.
fantastic. Yeah. And for those also that are interested in Blotato, Sabrina keeps it up to date and answers questions and just is so
I
good at
try
it. So
I
you
do
did
a
the blue
lot.
sky thing, you've done so it's just worth every penny.
Oh,
So
yeah, YouTube is live now. If you haven't seen
oh,
that.
I didn't know that yet. Okay. That's great
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah. So both long form YouTube and YouTube Shorts. So yeah.
Wow. So will YouTube Shorts work with the faceless kind of videos too, or is it
Mhm.
more of like the Hey Jen, that type of video?
So you can do either. You can post anything to
Okay.
YouTube. So YouTube just looks, if it's less than 3 minutes and portrait, then it's going to classify it as a short.
Okay. That's great. Yeah. And I've been using, so there's, what is it called? Firecut. It's a Premiere Pro add-on that allows me to do a lot of the stuff like the Hormozy
Oh,
captions.
really?
It looks for B-roll for me from like
Mhm.
5 different royalty-free things. It can also create your own B-roll. So one of the things I've been doing is not letting the Hey Gen side of the make.com thing that you created go all the way to being published. It
Mhm.
stops with the video just being created. So then
Mhm.
I go in there and I'll spend 15, 20 minutes on 5 videos, but it's
Yeah.
so automated in Premiere that I'm getting the B-roll. It also does these cuts where it zooms in on you and out, and
Wait,
it just
I need to know what this is.
I'll send you the link. Yeah, this thing's on fire. It's so good.
I was
And
looking for something like that for Premiere, but like I was just looking for like better captions, and for
yeah,
some
no,
reason it was like hard
100%.
to find.
Yeah, yeah, this is a game changer. It's really good. I forgot the guy's name that invented it. He's a big YouTuber though, and I was like, I gotta have this, because I was doing things like do my video in Premiere, exporting, and then going to CapCut because it's got the great captions. That's like a whole giant workflow.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too
Oh
much.
my
Yeah.
God, that's so
So
cool.
yeah, so it's been fantastic. But yeah, all these tools, I mean, they're just helping me with my day to day, giving me ideas for side gigs, helping me explain things on the fly, plans, teaching lessons. I might have one class that's at this level, another one came in and just boom. So I go in there on a Monday. I'm like, oh God, these guys are way ahead.
They
I
tailor
need
the
I need
lessons.
I need to scale them up. So hey, chat, my intermediate, and then using chat now with projects, it knows everything about my San Marino High School media class. So it just goes, okay, Dave, we know what you're doing. Let's do this today, and phew, like 5 minutes, I'm done.
That's amazing. That's so funny. I'm actually using it to like help me rewrite all the Blotato help docs. 'Cause
Yeah,
I had my project there, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so helpful to like reorganize. I dumped the support tickets and be like, what are the most common questions? Incorporate them in the help docs. It's really amazing for that kind of stuff.
there's a contest coming up for mental health and
Mhm.
suicide and all that stuff. So we do it every year. One of the things I read in the outline was that none of this can be AI generated stuff. No music, no whatever. And I was like, why are you guys kind of behind on that? Why would you
Is
not
there
want
music?
that?
Huh.
Yeah, they didn't want AI music. They didn't want AI imagery. They didn't want AI video. The kids were kind of like, well, why? And I'm just like, they just must be behind it right now, or they don't get it. And I respect that. You don't get it, you don't get it. It's going to come and slap you in the face one day. So that was kind of shocking to me today to see that. That
Yeah,
it's
I was
all
actually
royalty
too.
free. Yeah.
In your everyday life, just like friends and family, what would you rate as the education level when it comes to AI? Is it pretty beginner, people kind of intermediate in terms of adopting it and trying different tools?
So I have a cousin who is amazing, Stanford grad, just sharp as a tack. We were up at they just bought a vineyard up in Solvang area, and so I was up there with her, and she was presenting. She's really involved with Santa Barbara and the school,
Mhm.
the council there, and everything, Habitats for Humanity, things like that. She was making this really horrible Google slide presentation. I said, "There's this app I use called Gamma. Let me just show you what we can do with that. Why don't you show me what you want to put in it?" And so I copied and pasted into Gamma. It made this ridiculous presentation that was gorgeous with AI imagery of Santa Barbara stuff too.
Mhm.
Like she goes, that looks like Santa Barbara, and and so she's hooked now. Watches videos that I do all the time about anything, learning about chat, and I'm like, this person in your pocket that's with you for, let's just say $20 a month if you don't want the $200 plan. Okay, come on. Images. Hey, you are Steven Spielberg and you're going to help me write this 3-act screenplay or give me ideas. So it's just mind boggling that everyone isn't jumping on this. I guess kind of back when the internet days when no one wanted to go on the internet, or I'm not going to buy anything on the internet. It's not safe. Or so it's all these steps that you have to go through to get to the main, stream. But I'm just like lucky and excited that I got into it so fast. Of course, your TikTok videos were a huge driver of all that stuff.
I hear that.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you are pioneering a lot of things in the education space, though, because this is definitely a pain point I've heard from other parents as well as teachers. What does the new curriculum look like? How do we teach it in a way that emphasizes the ethics around it, but also fosters creativity? Because I hear that concern or objection a lot. Oh, they won't for themselves anymore.
God.
When they start using AI, I just feel like there are a lot of people who would love to literally watch what you're doing, sit in on a classroom and just live stream it out.
I actually thought about live streaming the classroom one time with my advanced kids because, and let's see how that goes. We'll see. But yeah, no, that's to see them light up. They get it, and then they see this authority figures, the other teachers who don't get it. And so it's like this battle and I'm on their side. So I'm kind of the rebel. Every one of them has chat on their phone. Something I use it with some of my Asian kids and my Hispanic kids because I don't speak fluent Spanish. I use chat to, hey, chat, this is May. She speaks Mandarin. I'm going to talk to her in English. You're going to translate. And then when she talks back, you're going to translate that to English for me. And so we'll have these conversations in Chat GPT. It's just amazing because before I couldn't do that. I just had to go Google Translate, write something in there for me. Oh, that's what you said. Now I can do this, It's just all these tools now and then another thing, like I have some kids that have learning disabilities and things like that who are really sweet kids. And then they can type and do things like that. And then when I show them to write some fun stuff, let's make a castle of blueberries with a unicorn flying over and he's got pink wings and the sun's out. And they do that in Adobe Firefly. And all of a sudden they see this image and you see their faces just light up. Like, whoa, I created that. I made that. I probably can't draw that, but I made that. And so just little things like there's so many things in that learning side of the business that I think the sky's the limit of how they can help those kind of kids.
Yeah, and it's just the beginning, and I hope there's more education and leadership in those areas. That's why, I'm hearing you talk, and I really feel like sharing your message with many other parents and teachers out there would be incredibly helpful.
I appreciate that.
One of the top questions from parents and teachers as well is, how do I teach this stuff? What is the lesson plan for you as a parent to be able to do some of these activities with your kids at home, for example, like 30 minutes a day where you guys can play together, play with AI and to how to use it, but in a creative way, in a fun way.
I want to do something that just at the local, the community center over the summer, teaching parents the basics of how to do this stuff so they can teach their younger kids or even be on the same wavelength when they talk to them about it. We're using AI to, well, what's that? What's AI? Ooh, the AI is the monster, the scary monster that's going to help. No, it's actually helping me read. Or one of the big things today, I don't know if you've talked about this, but Khan Academy. So they now are one of the, in ChatGPT, one of the, what do you call them? When you go in the apps, not apps.
GPT store?
Yeah, the GPT store.
Yeah.
So their Khan Academy's in there now. And so you use that and now it already knows I'm your tutor. I'm not just going to give you the answer. I'm going to walk you through how to do this calculus or whatever. Yeah. So I thought that was a really big game changer. And this doesn't cost any extra money or anything, so I don't think parents know any of that stuff,
I didn't even know about that. I should make a video on that.
Yeah. I'll send you, I have the link somewhere. There was a guy on YouTube and I checked it out and it was like, whoa, that's pretty powerful,
Yeah.
So yeah, this is having tutors and having, there's no way people shouldn't be able to learn now anything you want to learn. I want to learn to speak Mandarin tomorrow. I want to learn how to do physics or, whatever, write a story, write a script, give me 10 script ideas for this kind of storyline or, whatever. So yeah, it's just too much.
Well, it's been really great having you. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I apologize for talking too much because I like to hear your wisdom more. But no, I just love everything that you do. I've been a fanboy, and Blotato's been since day one that you launched it. I've been a part of it. It just gets better and better, and it saved me hours and hours of time. And just everyone should be following your TikToks and just gaining information and showing how to build channels and all that stuff. And like you said, I mean, it's, part of me is like, I wanted to do, I don't know if it's a school or something like that, where I would just have a community. I'm not saying charge a dime for it, but I would want people that I knew were educators that could join
Absolutely.
it and not just have riffraff, you know?
I was going to say, I think there's a lot of demand from that from both the educator side and the parent side. I
Yeah.
think from the parent side, it's bigger.
Okay.
I get questions all the time. Like some of my most viral videos are free ways for your kids to learn AI. And I'm constantly asked, well, what if they're in kindergarten? What would you recommend? What if they're in fifth grade? What would you recommend? What if they're in high school focused on this subject? What would you recommend? It's a
Yeah.
whole other area that I'm not
Okay.
super deep in, but I notice there's a ton of demand for that. Because,
Okay. I love it.
parents want to teach their kids too, but there's not that many resources
Yeah.
out there right now, particularly tailored to kids. But what I love about kind of your lesson plan that you described, it's using the available AI tools out there, but using it in creative ways. Like let's make a music video, right? And then we'll put all these tools together as part of that project.
Just learning this one tool, you got all these, you're putting it all together in a big pot and stirring it and,
Yeah, and
you
it
know,
kind
making
of
some.
just, it's not like about any one tool. It's just like how you mix and match them together and the ability to learn or adapt any tool on the fly, depending on what your need or what your project is. Those are really useful skills as well for them to learn.
And I would challenge parents that are watching this to tell their kids to go take them to suno.com, make a little music there, have fun doing it together. You have a free ChatGPT account, come up with some lyrics if you want. It'll help with that, or, you know, just ideas. And then take that music and then go to something like a Leonardo. Leonardo.ai has got a free side to it to make some imagery. Bring that into your free iMovie account on your iPhone or iPad. And I'm sure there's an Android editing tool there too that's free. And now make your music video.
Yeah, I
And
think we need to collaborate on a blog post or something on that, just to like lay out the steps. Because parents ask me like, "What is step by step? Can you just
yeah,
explain it to me?"
easy breezy, man. So yeah, it's and then you'll see the kids. Oh, Maggie, I made a music video or whatever, you know, and they start to have fun, and that starts to get the bells. And when they have fun, that starts to get them going. You know, it's not like, oh, I got a math homework tonight. I got to study for chemistry. It's like,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
feel like that's when the real learning activates when you're having fun because it's like a relaxed creative
mhm.
mindset where you're like taking in new ideas. So it's been really amazing to hear you talk and let me know anything I can do to support you. Really, I think you have
I
so much
appreciate that.
wisdom and insights to share with a lot of teachers and parents out there. So it's been really great having you. Thanks again for joining my podcast.
Thanks, Sabrina. You're awesome.